Hmm. Hello? There we go.
Hello.
For some reason. How's it going?
Going well. It's going well. How are you?
Pretty good. For some reason, Discord wasn't picking up my mic for a sec. Sorry about that.
Oh, no worries.
Cool. Okay, so let's just do the intro and then we can hop into the lesson. So I like to just start with your tag, where you're from, um, goals for the game, how long you've been playing, stuff like that.
All right. Uh, the tag lovestory4a. I'm a Sheik main. Used to play like every other character. I was like a Mars main, a Fox main, a Tri main.
Okay, that's cool.
Um,
That's good to know.
yeah. So I have a lot of experience with like every top tier besides like Falcon.
Okay.
I have a decent piece I pull out sometimes because ice climbers and stuff, and a
Mm-hmm.
Zelda for ice climbers. I've kind of been playing like since I was a kid, but like I only started entering locals about 2 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
roughly. And most of the time I just play like shitty net play or like Smash Ladder, like in
Mm-hmm.
2016. Um, I've been ranked top 10 in Chicago, number 9, and then number 10 this last season.
Okay.
Um,
Okay. That gives
yeah,
me like a good like range for where you're at.
yeah.
Okay, cool.
Um, My goals, I guess, would be I would like number one because there's never been a number one Sheik in Chicago besides like Hells, but he was like a dual main, so I don't count it.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Okay, nice. That's a good
and
goal.
yeah, and maybe top 100 would be nice, but I'm not too concerned because traveling isn't really on my radar. So it'd be nice to just like dominate Chicago, but it's kind of
Mm-hmm.
hard because we have good players.
Yeah, I mean that's something to be thankful for.
Yeah.
A lot of times people
Yep.
just get to the top two easy of the region. The game gets very unfun very fast.
hmm
Okay, so what is the lesson on today? What do you want to go over?
Um, so I sent some Falco files versus Ober because we tend to play together quite
Mm-hmm.
often. And I guess like the main thing is like I'm really bad at like hitting him. I'm like always like a few pixels off, or I'm just too late, or sometimes too early, and he's really good at just hitting me. And
Okay.
yeah, and I'm not too good at neutral. Well, kind of like sometimes we have like little stalemates, but then I always just like get antsy or greedy, and then I just like run in, and he just reacts to me like going across stage or jumping, and then I get hit, and then I
Mm-hmm.
lose my stock.
Okay. All right, I'll keep that in mind while I'm watching. Is the screen share working?
Yeah,
Okay.
I can see it.
Okay. I'll say if I see anything, but I'm probably just gonna like watch through for a second.
No worries.
Oops. Looks like it went in the background for a second. Uh, there we go. This is this like a hand warmer or something? Are you guys really
No,
playing in this section? This is like such
I
a weird spot. I've never seen something
yes,
like this.
I mean, yeah, it's real. Like o Ober likes to shoot the laser, and I'm just like, well, okay, I guess I'll just
Mm-hmm.
charge some needles and see if I can get free damage. And eventually, one of us bites. Usually, it's me,
Mm-hmm.
but I prefer playing like this spot like way better. I kind of just don't know what to
Yeah.
do, so I'm just like, okay, let's make something happen.
Okay. A big part of this interaction is the inner edge of the side platform right here. Mostly because you can like run off and fast fall and do stuff like that. And so like there's this interaction that kind of occurs here where like Falco is trying to get like high laser up tilt on you running off or something like that, and
hmm
there's a chance for you to like run off and sometimes get like a fair grab like early on or something like that. If you're too far back on the platform, then he just has like his spacing options are too good, basically. Like, you don't have the option of running off and quickly fast falling into an aerial, and so you're kind of, like, locked, right? Of, like, either you slow fall through or you, like, run off the side. And it just doesn't give you enough options to actually counter him. Whereas, like, if you stand kind of on this inner edge, you have a chance to catch him as he moves into this space. Or you have the chance to, like, for instance, like, shield, like, you just wait, like, one more beat. Like, you stand here, and because you're threatening the runoff fair, he'll try to get, like, an up tilt or something, and you can wait out the up tilt and then just run off needle grab or something like that. So there's, like, all kinds of mix-ups, but they only happen, like, right here. If you're anywhere past this edge of the platform, Falco wins this interaction with Sheik standing on side plat. You don't want to be there. And it's really interesting because I feel like a lot of Falcos think the opposite, where they feel like, oh, I lose that spot. And I'm always like, no. Like, if Sheik is actually just standing up here and you're down below as Falco, like, as the Sheik, it does not feel particularly great. It feels like you're kind of, like, you don't really have options to hit him down here, but he has options to hit you. But the good news is that if you go to this inner edge and he gets directly underneath you, then there's like you have actually like a chance to maybe like reversal him into the corner. Because if he wants to get underneath the platform, he has to go past you into the corner, which sets up you like just coming off right here, and now he's in the corner. And like, I'm sure you know that like getting Falco in the corner is like the most important part of this matchup. Should I say, like, if the Falco is never making any mistakes ever, that's gonna be like where Sheik really like excels. And I think Plup is probably the best person at doing this. I think Plup and Crudo are both really good at not necessarily every other piece of the matchup equally, but like at getting you into the corner and sort of like pressuring the corner with Sheik against Falco. I think that's really important. So any chance you can get to be like, just this position basically makes it really perilous for Falco if because you have the fastball threat, and if he goes too far, then he's now in like this negative corner position. That's like a really big deal. So it's just a way better defensive position than it would be up here. And if you end up like here, you can't do anything here. You're just literally like sitting in the corner. You're like powerless. If you're here, you're like, oh, like power plays. Like I'm doing something. Like I have all this stuff going on. You know.
I forgot where I learned it, but I thought playing like further away from the platform was better because you could react, like you can have a reaction point and then see what they're doing. So that's why I tend to be like on the far left or like the far right.
It's just you have way more. This is not, I'm not really sure where exactly you got that. I think like there's spots in like the Marth matchup where you stand here, and then when Marth comes close, you move back on the platform because he usually tries to like nair right here. But other than that, normally like for pretty much every character, this is like a better spot. Like think for Falco, like when Falco goes to the side plat, he wants to defend right here because he's threatening the runoff down air. If Falco's back here, you just set up right here and start backflipping, like with back airs and stuff. Like he doesn't really have like a counter to that. And it's similar where if you end up too far back on the side plat, you're very like tucked away defensively, and especially against like ice climbers or something, they're not going to be able to do anything to get you over here. But you don't have like aggro tools or like mix-up tools, and you can't stop Falco from getting underneath you, and once he's underneath you, it's a good position for him. So yeah, the inner edge is way stronger because from this position, all you have to do is wait out this laser. Like you just don't jump into this laser, don't run off into this laser because he's almost always going to do it. You just wait out this laser, and you're in a good position for a mix-up. And it just fixes this whole thing. I also think you don't have like the aura so far in this part of the game that you're like looking for like the grab. I'm not seeing like the grab tech chase aura because that is this entire matchup from the Sheik in. The way
I'm pretty bad at it.
You want to look at this matchup kind of like you're playing Puff Falco. I don't know if you've ever played Puff, but you were saying you played a lot of characters.
I have played Puff.
So, you know how you're like, well, nothing I do works, but like, I figured out this one little thing where I read this laser in this one little spot, and I kind of like wave dashed underneath it, and then I like power shielded down there, and I rested him or something crazy like that. Like that's how Puff works against Falco. Is like you overwhelmingly kind of like lose normal situations, and your goal is to sort of like just stay safe enough, and you want to look for the one moment. Like, this matchup is all about hitting like power shield, perfect wave dash in, perfect up tilt, and if like you're late on any of those, then maybe you lose. But stuff like that like defines this matchup. Or like being able to hit a forward tilt and it trades with the laser, and then you just immediately get like a grab out of it or something like that. Like those like little precise movements of like, oh, I tapped Falco and I got a grab, or like I barely dodged this thing and I got a grab, or like I CC'd this or I barely got a grab, or like jumping into early down airs and getting grabs. All these little tiny things are what decide the matchup. The macro play is not actually like, it's obviously important, but a lot of the interactions are going to come down to these little precise moments where you kind of like play like a mini gamble to get your sort of like rest, aka like your really big punish. Because Falco sort of overwhelmingly wins neutral in this matchup. It's really annoying as Sheik. You see, you just have to pick your moments the same way as like Puff, where you can't really be like, oh, like he does this, like I do that. Like that doesn't super work in this matchup. It's a lot of like sort of just being sneaky enough and then finding your one little moment where you just kind of like try to do something really precisely and get like a perfect opening. So while you're playing it as the Sheik, you need to have this like kind of all or nothing type mentality, or the Falco needs to at least feel it that you're like looking for your wobble. Like that needs to be like the energy you're projecting at pretty much all times. First of all, that you're looking for the wobble, and second of all, that you're not gonna do anything like relevant until Falco actually gets close to you. There's a lot of times with Sheik Falco we're just standing and doing no inputs. And like if you're like at this distance and they're over here, sometimes just standing here and just power shielding and doing nothing is pretty effective. And it's because not necessarily that you're getting a whole lot done, and they can sometimes, if you do it too long, they can set up something nice. But you're sort of showing that like you're not really pressured to like run around and chase Falco around. You're sort of like a bubble of like, if they get within this bubble, you're gonna like let something super precise rip that has like a chance to rest them. And that's kind of like the way the game is played in this matchup a lot of times, because Falco can just space around you and he makes it really, really hard to even like get a hit ever or like reach out and hit him. But if you're less focused on like everything that's going on and more focused that like, well, as soon as he gets inside my bubble, I'm just gonna make like a read, then the matchup simplifies down like a lot. Whereas if you're trying to react to all the lasers and you're like, well, I'm going to dodge this laser and then I'm going to sneak in around that laser and hit him, like that's the type of movement that like Falco is like set up to, like that's the type of stuff that like Falco is practicing against. Is that like, well, I shoot this laser and Sheik jumps over it, so I'll dash back to avoid the potential aerial and then I'll punish it or whatever. So anything that like looks super rational position-wise in this matchup a lot of times favors Falco, if you're thinking of it from like a react and respond point of view. At least in the way I see it.
Yeah, that makes complete sense. Never thought of it that way.
And so like I sort of see like the two ways that Sheik thinks about this matchup is like, way one is like the way I just explained with like that sort of like rest thing, and then once the Falco realizes that like they probably just need to like play really safe and look for like a lot of sort of like slower neutral situations, then you start working your way in. You start getting better at like run-in crouch defense, run-in shield defense, and short hop. Like there's sort of like a mix of Falco plays with like high laser and low laser to like keep you out and like try to get you like while you're approaching him. But basically if Falco's playing like really laser heavy, there's like a sort of, you kind of do it with Sheik in all the matchups, but you're sort of doing this like forward short hop, backward short hop, sometimes I dash crouch type of, sometimes I dash shield type of mix up, and you can kind of like work your way in on Falco to push him into the corner. Those are like the two things that I consider like the most important for the Sheik side of the matchup. Oof, that was such a good laser by the Falco. Nothing you can do about those, they just win the mix.
I think this is the 4-stock game probably, or 3-stock. Oh, I should have grabbed after that fair.
Okay, I'm just gonna watch and see what I see out of this. Okay, yeah, so like, it's a little bit tricky, but the Falco hasn't been showing too many full hops. Like, I think if the Falco is just running around camping you with full hop, it's a little bit different, but Ober hasn't really been doing that a lot. I think when the Falco is feeling kind of grounded, like they're not just platform running away, you don't want to particularly overcommit horizontally. Like, what I'm trying to say is, like, basically you want to, like, keep Falco on one side of you and then, like, push him to the side. You need to, like, watch out for the cross up or, like, Falco going directly into you or under you, because that's what Falco is looking for a lot of times. So, like, sort of like a full hop like this, going forward on the drift here is, like, definitely an overcommitment, because you could just take the corner position here. Like, you can just, like, wall this and fade back and keep Falco in this spot. And, like, what I would say is, based on the thing I was saying a second ago, is maybe you do something where you do this. Let's say you did already full hop, is that you fade back here with the fair to prevent, like, the cross up, and then you immediately turn around and do, like, a full approaching backflip back air or something. Not, like, necessarily with the back air out, but, like, do the backflip to prepare for the back air. And the idea is that you'd be like, first of all, you took center, and now that you took center and Falco's over here, you're trying to, like, use some sort of mix to, like, fully corner him. Whereas if you go up a little bit too much in center, or, like, it's not sometimes up, but, like, usually, like, up and forward too much, or, like, you don't establish your center before you, like, move in, and you're sort of just playing it really fluidly, and, like, well, Falco's there, so now I go here, and stuff like that. Falco will, like, outmove you a lot of times, and she can't adapt to, like, the changing position quite as well as Falco can. Like, the position's, like, a little bit too dynamic, and I would like to sort of see you, like, take the center, establish it, and then, like, work your way into the corner.
Yeah.
And it, even, like, right here, every time you end up in a centralized position in this matchup, like, kind of ignoring this, but, like, basically you could, like, instead of dash attacking there, you can just run to center, stand there for a sec, like, establish your center, and then just turn around, short hop backwards, and you're suddenly pressuring this platform with the back air. Maybe he goes high, and now you're pressuring with, like, you're sharking with the up air, or he goes low, and now you have him in the corner, and you can kind of just keep doing this, like, maybe I'm approaching, and then if you don't really get it, you, like, reestablish the center, and you kind of do it again. And it just basically creates a situation where Falco can't abuse the movement, because he wants the situation where he can, like, retreat and move in and get, like, retreating laser, approaching laser, like, dash dance, and did all this mix-ups. But once he's in the corner, from the Falco end, it feels like if he does, like, full hops and stuff, then maybe your back air is waiting, or it puts him up here in a shark position, and then, like, maybe you're just drifting in with back airs and fairs already. He gets kind of stuffed, and he feels like if he short hops out with an aerial or a laser or whatever, maybe you just, like, trade with F tilt, you know what I mean, and now he's off stage. Like, it gets kind of annoying for him. Whereas, like, if you're here and you trade with an F tilt, you know, you get down here and he gets forward tilted, then it's just going to end up in, like, a neutral break. Whereas maybe here it hits him off stage and you end up with something forward tilt trade, random needle, and he's dead or something like that.
Right.
So I would say, like, if you end up with any sort of, like, a lot of times what I'm thinking as the Sheik is, if I am here or here, I'm going to try to play, like if I'm not in a strong centralized position, I'm going to play, like, very, like, slow. And, I mean, Sheik is slow and methodical in either way. But when you're in, like, the corner and you're in kind of this negative position, you don't really want to be in, like, a rush to make something happen. You know, like, you can work your way out with shield or go back to the ledge and, like, just really, like, take your time to get to this sort of, like, inner platform area to center, like, that this sort of range. Once you sort of get this range, now you're like, okay, the game has changed. I'm no longer trying to get out of this situation very defensively. I'm now trying to, like, slowly, like, encroach on Falco's space here. And it's, like, two very different games that you're playing as Sheik, but they have sort of, like, a similar, like, patience required for them, but one is more like
Uh-huh.
aggressive and then one is more defensive, and you just gotta like
Yeah,
be able to switch between them when the position changes.
yeah, I get that.
Okay, so let's see. Okay. Okay, so this is like an example of it like working out, of like the thing kind of being right, where like you notice that you get this good position, but you're not trying to immediately hit him, because you
Mhm.
don't need to immediately hit him. You know, you get like he's like
Yeah,
here, and you're like, oh, and you could like maybe get a fair here, but I like that like there's gonna be a lot of positions where you can't get that fair here. So I'm just saying, like, assuming you couldn't get the fair here, you just sort of stop for a second, you pressure, and you go for the up tilt. Oh, it falls on you, get this up tilt again, and now like theoretically you would have like a kill there. Okay, gotta be killing out of these though. These are huge, like the
oh
tech
yeah.
chases and stuff. I think like doing like the tech chase fair is really good, like the one that Jmook does.
Hmm.
I think that's just like if you want their stocks to disappear, you got to have the kill moves.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it looks like an accident maybe.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, I like that. Nope. Yeah, and that's basically like this is
Oh
just
no.
like you're just getting like reversal here, right? Like you didn't even do anything necessarily like wrong. Like you just missed your combo and died for it, and like that's melee, unfortunately.
Yeah. Painful.
Like not necessarily died for it, but pretty bad. Like you ended a
Hmm.
very bad situation. Hmm.
Probably could have done slide off on the platform
Yeah, I
sometime.
also think instead of that down tilt, like obviously forward tilt would have been better, but I think mentally as Sheik against Falco, I think you got to change like the mindset from like really fighting out every interaction to thinking more like think of like a puff main there is like way better in my opinion. Where like the puff main
Mhm.
will do something here where they'll like hold shield for 2 beats and then up smash at a shield. That's the type of
Yeah.
thinking you want to be having more than like over here like I got to respond to that and do this or that, because the Falco is just going to be like, why respond to that with the thing that you couldn't hit me for, you know?
Hmm.
Like, and they're
Right.
just kind of going to do that like every time, so it's way better to be like, oh, I'm not even playing that, like let's get to the next situation and then like just do something very tricky in that position. I feel like that a lot of times has like a way bigger payoff in this matchup, because a lot of times you can get a big combo out of it. Whereas, like, if you get a down tilt here, even like a forward tilt, there's a lot of spots where like he can just DI away, tech in place or something, and then like you're not necessarily gonna get like a follow up. You want to be thinking about like it's okay to just kind of chill there. Like if he grabs you, it's not the end of the world.
Hmm.
You can just kind of sit in shield sometimes and be like, I'm gonna do something tricky, and if it hits, I get like a really big opening. What's kind of funny is I've definitely given Ober a bunch of Falco Sheik lessons, and I'm pretty sure he's just like sent me your VOD, so I've just been telling him how to mess you up.
Yeah, he's been fucking me up like every session. He comes back with something new. I'm like,
Yeah,
oh shit.
yeah, that's me. My bad. uh,
But I've had like a few lessons from Crudo. He's been
oh,
helping me out
nice.
sometimes.
It's like a proxy war.
Yeah, yeah, basically.
Yeah.
I'm trying to beat this man. Oh, this game too?
Yeah. Okay.
Ooh, a closer one.
One sec. Just gonna take a sip of water.
Yeah. I wasn't ready.
Yeah. Just got to get on that inner edge. Either get on the inner edge immediately or get to like the ground. I think you can also like Plup does a thing at the beginning of the game against Falco a lot where he just super camps this position for like he doesn't go to the inner edge at the beginning. And I think he's just basically trying to like establish like how the Falco moves and lasers. Like he just plays this position like a heavy stalemate. Like he'll just like charge needles at first and then like full hop and stuff like that. And just like, and he won't do it past the first stock most of the time. But I think like it is sort of a valid opening to the game of let's be like, I'm just gonna like really sit back. So you don't have to immediately like rush into it. But if you decide to play like these sort of like really laid back positions, I think you have to like commit to that, you know, and be like, I'm just gonna like run away rather than being like, oh, I'm gonna like play the really passive spot. And then he's like, all right, I'll bring the fight to you. And you're like, you know what? I'm down. And now you're just too late and you're like behind a tempo and he just hits you, you know? That was like basically what happened there. Oof, the combo is nasty. Nah, you gotta tech chase.
I'm so bad at it.
Like, do you feel like your tech chasing is like weak in general?
Uh, yeah. Sometimes I can pop off on it, but like I've played like Shabble before, and he's told me that I just don't do true RTC. I kind of just like get lucky and like kind of do a read
Mm-hmm.
on the positioning.
Yeah,
Um,
like do you do like the wave dash grab like consistently? Like the wave dash
uh,
back?
I tried to do it like I'll react to their DI and like buffer the wave dash angle and like follow them, but like it's kind of always like 50-50 for me if I hit it or not.
Mm-hmm. Cause
But I
like
don't think I'm truly reacting. I'm kind of just hoping I'm in the right spot, and then maybe I'll grab them, maybe I won't.
mm-hmm. And I'm sure you know about like the leg split and stuff, and like which frame you're supposed to be looking at.
Yeah, I've like looked at like the gifts and like
Yeah.
the
Okay.
little color, like sometimes like blue or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Like yeah, I usually just look at like the leg position on Spaceys. Like when they do that leg split, then that's like the in place one. Um, but I basically feel like that is like step. It's not even step one. It's like you need like a foundation to build your other stuff on. It's
Hmm.
like it's like a puff player who like doesn't go for the rest after the rest setup.
Yeah.
Like their brain won't be like wired correctly to look for the rest setup.
Hmm.
Like because you're not getting this like, oh, I gotta grab like domain expansion. Like you're not like literally just sitting there like I will like the next 60 seconds are my perfect combo and like Falco can't do anything. And like that's what you're looking for is you're looking for like this like I got the grab, it's me time, you know? And
Hmm.
like
Yeah.
if it at all feels like you get the grab and you're like, "Ah, let's see where this goes" or whatever, it's just not your brain won't line up right because it's not like a sure kill. Like when it's a sure
Hmm.
kill in your head, then like when you want to win and you're really afraid of losing, your brain will like direct you towards that.
Oh
But
yeah,
if it's
yeah.
not
That's happened
but
before.
if it's not like a point of like total confidence, then like your brain will like look for other things that it thinks might get the dub, and you like that's not like the thing that you know is the thing that will get the dub, which is like tech chasing and stuff like that. um
Hmm.
so I think that like it's something that you can't ignore basically. And like it's not like a matter of like, well, I'll get better at the other parts of the game and then like eventually I'll just get tech chasing and then it'll all line up, because like
Yeah.
having at least like an 80%, you know, like rate on like the tech chase combo or something, like having like a really good punish game on the Spaceys is what like allows you to structure your game plan against them.
Right.
like at all. Like like not even like you could think of a game plan, but the thing in your brain that actually creates like reward structures and stuff is not gonna see it. It'll be like, why are you doing all this to get a grab so that you'll get reversaled out of like the tech in place or something like that? Like you won't like learn correctly, basically. So I think it's like really important to like build. Sorry, what were you gonna say?
Oh, I was gonna say that I think part of the reason I haven't really bothered with RTC because I felt like there's been so many great Sheik mains that haven't done RTC like Jmook. You know, they kind of just like get 2 or 3 grabs and that's it. So I've kind of convinced myself. I'm like, well, if they can be top 100 players, what's stopping me from being bad at RTC and still winning? If that makes sense.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from on that.
Hmm.
Give me a second. I'll think of a good response to that.
Yeah.
Hmm.
If you want an example, like my big chic inspiration was like Shroom, and I don't think Shroom was like a RTC god or anything.
Mm-hmm.
And I always strayed away from like the face rolls or like the sparks, you know.
Uh-huh. Hmm. So. Hmm. I think that like especially like the older generation of players, they just came from like an era where like the weapons in the game that people were using, like the combos and stuff, weren't as brutal. So like I don't know, like this is like okay, so like all respect to Ober, right? Like he's not like the top Falco that you would be like that like would like win. Like he's not like Mango. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
and like he's like I'm watching his combos on you and like they're kind of scary sometimes, right? Like he's not hitting like a 2013 like down air shine back air. You know, he's like, oh, I'll knockback stack and then I'll double up tilt and then the low laser forward smash that's like difficult to jump out of and stuff. Like
Mhm.
there's more going on in the game from like the spacey end. And so I think like what happens is that basically like back in the day, like because everything like the weapons weren't as strong, there was sort of like the like they were able to build these healthy patterns of like mix-ups and getting like legit good at the game and like stuff like that
Mhm.
because there was just like a lower standard of like the punish across the board. So like just nowadays basically like you're fighting against patterns that like have been more refined by the meta, not necessarily by the people who are playing with them, but because you're fighting with these like against these stronger tools, you can't use like the old strategies against the strong tools and still have like a healthy growth process. Like you need to use the tools that are like eat on par with the meta in order
Mm.
to like form those like healthy mix up patterns and like ideas and stuff like that. And like
Mhm.
Shroom can still make it work these days,
It's
but like
crazy.
man, if that dude could zero death off of RTC, it'd probably be over for people because he's
Oh
he's
yeah,
trying
it
to
would.
make it work with old tools, and he built the top player part of his brain without those tools because you didn't need those tools to build the top player patterns back then. But
No.
now you're playing against, Ober's doing 80 damage a combo casually on like like without even thinking about it, and like so if Falco's doing 80 damage to you casually, you probably need to like be doing your amount of combo because otherwise
Oh.
Falco can just throw himself at you and be like, "Well, I'm going to hit harder than you and I win neutral cuz I'm a spacey." So like I win, and you have to be like, no, because like back in the day, Shroom still hit harder than like the Spaceys against him, even though he wasn't RTCing, because the Spaceys
Mhm.
weren't hitting as hard. But now to like because the Spaceys are hitting hard, to make the right dynamic again of well, I lose neutral by a little bit, but I hit harder on the Shiken. To create that dynamic, you need to have like appropriately modern tools and punishes. Otherwise, you're gonna get the wrong dynamic and be like learning like a fake matchup.
Oh wow. Damn.
Hopefully that explains it a little bit
Yeah.
better. I was taking a second. I was like,
Yeah, it
no, there's
does.
something here.
Yeah, that totally explains it. Dang.
Okay, cool. So hopefully that's a good argument for why you should definitely learn like RTC.
Yes.
Okay, so once you have that, and you can start structuring the matchup around like one tap into grab, stuff changes a lot. Because rather than this position feeling like, okay, so like let's say this position, rather than this position feeling like scary at all, or like, because this is somewhat of like a disadvantaged position, like you've been hit with the laser, a second approaching laser is coming. It's not like a particularly great position, but I would look at this position from the Sheik end as like an opportunity of like, okay, like what if I hit perfect power shield laser, like wave dash in F tilt here, or something like that, or wave dash in jab, or wave dash in up tilt, or something like that. That is like a possibility. Or if he's jumping in close enough, maybe I can just trade the laser with like the F tilt. Or sometimes you can even dash attack under this. If you see the situation coming, at least you can probably dash attack it. But basically what you want to do is you want to have recognition of stuff like this. Like what I'm trying to say is like this would probably be like my reaction point. I would realize something was happening right about now, and I'd be like, okay, I guess I'm just gonna like make something happen. And I think the down tilt is okay, but you really got to be aware of like the knockdown percent. Before it knocks down tilt is literally like a worthless move. It just does nothing. Like worthless. Even though it escapes stuff, like you would be better off here, literally like crouching under the laser and then doing dash back, dash in, grab, and closing your eyes than you would doing the down tilt.
Makes sense.
Ooh.
Oh, I should have buried.
Oh, and look at this. Watch when you have Falco in the corner, look how bad he gets. Like, look at this. You're here, and you're like, what are you going to do, Falco? He doesn't have anything here. Boom. You just jump up again. This is the type of position you want to get, like what I was talking about before, where, like, once you establish center and Falco's over here, you want to set up this type of jump where you're like, oh, I'm kind of moving in on you. And he just has a really, really tough time dealing with that. Look at that. Maintain the corner. Now he's dead. Now it's like, okay, he comes back. Whoa. What in the world? That was insane. Like, boo. Just never
Matrix shit. And then he misses again.
Oh, wow. That was crazy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Taking my time.
I also think like I think that random needle charge like this is really bad because you're on the ground. Like if you go to the side plat, feel free to charge a needle because he can't rip an instant laser there. But when you're doing this, like you're literally just begging to be approaching laser shined. Like there's nothing you can do about it. Like you can't cancel this quickly enough to like power shield a laser. It's just like not. It's just not good. And it feels like it should be fine because he's slow, but the laser is just not slow, and you're just giving him like a freebie basically. So I think like you can do it if you're kind of trolling, like if you're on FD and you're kind of like, I'll charge the needle, and then you shield the laser, and then you charge some more needles, and you shield the laser. Like you can kind of do it, but like ultimately it's not like good gameplay. He's too good against it. Like this is how you charge needles in this matchup. Yeah, I actually think this was like a great needle charge. Like here, where you're like, and you just charge right here. That's so good. Like this is like textbook really good needle charge in my opinion. And you get a ton of needles charged, and you were totally safe, and we're all good. And now you have these needles where like now if he gets shield grab in the corner and you back throw him off, he's in like horrible danger from full hop needle. You know. So like the dynamic has changed a lot from that needle charge, and so it's really good. But these needle charges, bad. It's gonna get you killed.
Oh, let's see. Oh, I got one.
And it's like, yeah, like man, like think about if this killed, and then Falco comes back, and you're just playing defensive on the platforms and like light shielding and stuff like that. The whole dynamic of this game has changed. Your chances of getting like imagine like you're playing mad defensive after you take the stock, and then you know. Now you're running away from Falco, you get up to the side plat, you charge some needles, you get some needles, you get a grab, and now it's 3-1 because you killed him off that grab. And like that's literally Jmook. Like that's actually like just the way Jmook like does stuff. Like that's like what he's doing. Okay, so yeah, I like the backflip there into that. Okay, this is it's good that you're like so right here I think once you get this central position, you need to like recognize it and be like, oh, I got center. Like, let's go. Like, right here, it's like, it's center time. Like, I would immediately turn my back right here, or at least walk up and turn my back and try to get, like, a back air here. I think it's a little bit tricky, the amount of time you have, but, like, there should be a back air hitting him for doing that. Good. No, this is actually good. And see how it applies the concept I was talking about. This forward tilt, This forward tilt is like, is he dumb? Like, I don't know if he's really that dumb. Like, this, like, cause you just run off and you're like, fair? And you're like, watch him try to punish the fair and get, like, dude, I feel like nobody past, like, 2-2er level gets hit by run off fair F tilt. Like, that's just the most, like, you're just hoping he's bad, you know? I just feel like this isn't that good. I would rather you do the fair and then try to do something a little bit trickier, you know? But that's just like a gameplay quality thing in general. This is fine, I guess, because he left. Yeah, and it's just like, unless you really think like that's what he's gonna like. Oh yeah, Ober loves to punish auto cancel fair by running in and grabbing it or something like. Nah, he's not gonna do that. The only thing he might be punishing that with is a downer, and that's gonna beat the F tilt. Okay. So, but look, if you get this center position here, you don't have to give it up, like, ever. You get this, watch. You get this, you have this. Literally just face your back to him and, like, wall back here. He can't go through this channel, like, at all. This is just closed off here. This is your space now. And so, watch. So you move back and, like, notice that, like, if you hadn't moved back, this whole thing is unsafe by him. Like, he can't do this at all if you're in this position. Watch. So, right here, watch. If you just hold your ground right here, look at this. He can't just get away with that, you know? Like, he might just have gotten F-tilted or something like that. And even if he does laser you from this range, you're still safe. You can just back off if you want. Or you can F-tilt, or, like, nair, or, like, hold your ground, or hold shield. You can just stay shielding. You can do all kinds of things there. But, like, the important part is that he's scared, because he's here. After he shoots this laser, if you shield it, what's he really going to do? Is he going to cross up aerial? Is he going to, like, stay in the corner? His options don't look super great at that point. But I like that after you come in here, you're like, haha. The thing that's annoying is that you did the F-tilt again, but I'll somewhat ignore it because it's off of the full hop, and you fully cornered him first. Like, if you fully corner Falco here, this F-tilt is a little bit more permissible just because he has so few options here. It's still kind of like a, like, I feel like a good player here dodges the F-tilt every time. Like, not to say Ober's not good, but like a theoretical very good player will be like, oh, like, normally when the Sheik lands here, I do a little dash dance right here to avoid this. And that's why this idea of, like, continuously just setting up is so important. Because, like, you just set, like, imagine if you did this. Like, you did this fair, and then you immediately just wave dash back crouched after the fair. You would have, like, a very similar position. You'd probably be able to shield grab his nair. But you would, like, be able to, like, maintain, like, right here. Even if you just did something right here, like, I would say a common option here is assume the Falco's going to cross up aerial, and I just do a slight dash back shield here. And then if he does this cross up nair on my shield, I would just get, like, a turnaround. I would have a turnaround grab right here. I think the F-tilt here is fine, like I said, because you already got him into the corner. But what will happen when they're really good is you'll get this nice pressure in the corner with the fair, and you'll do the F-tilt, and they'll dodge it and punish you. But I don't want you to see that as, like, this corner pressure is bad. Just that, like, think of when Falco's corner pressuring you, he's like, laser dash dance. Laser dash dance. Like, he's not just committing immediately. And even though you're not committing by, like, aerialing in, the F-tilt is still a commitment, you know?
Yeah.
I would say that the up tilt is a little bit better if you want to do an attack there that's, like, you don't want to commit too hard just because it has way less ending lag. But I think that it's sort of just like a thing to keep it in mind that, like, when you land with this fair, you don't have to play this interaction, like, aggressively. You could just keep holding center. You can, like, return to center or keep playing it out. You just want to, like, maintain that position, and it's totally fine. You just don't want it to get worse than that. Like, you got this advantage, and you're like, okay, I'm either maintaining the same advantage or it's getting better. But you don't need to ever really, like, commit enough to give it up.
Hmm.
And then once you're here, where you're like, oof, disadvantage, disadvantage. Now when I'm here, you got to just be like, whoa, big step back. Like we're the slow defensive Sheik because you don't have the center position. You don't have it, so you can't play like that where you like playing too dynamic here. I would say, back off, charge some needles, play very like chill here. If you play a little bit too like, yeah, we're gonna fight it out, and it's like, oh, you did the thing that you want Falco to do. That's literally what happened. Like, the thing that you want to hit Falco with when you landed the fair F tilt, that's what Falco got you with. Where, Falco's just like, well, I'm going to, push you into the corner, and then I'll attack vaguely in front of the corner, and you'll probably run out of the corner and get hit by it. And that's exactly what happened. And this is literally just your, fair F tilt, but working on you. And so it's like, no, you gotta be more like, I have this much corner space. Falco doesn't want to overcommit into the corner. Because remember, Falco's big danger is getting reversaled here. He doesn't want, because your corner is so strong on him, feels really bad when, he has a good corner on you. The most obvious would be he F smashes the corner and you roll past him, something that's not going to happen all that often. But when it does, it's like, woohoo! Because you get this sudden reversal in the position. So you have all this space in the corner, and you have the ledge. Falco knows you have the ledge, so when you're hanging out right here, he's not like, oh boy, free corner pressure, because he knows you can just go to the ledge. But you have the ledge to move back to when you need to. You have the platform. It's hard for him to always get you on the platform. You have all this little extra corner space. Think of this as when you get pushed into that negative spot in the corner, obviously you want to get in, and if you see an opportunity to get in. But if you feel the pressure wave coming, you feel yourself back off, and you feel like Falco's coming in, he's coming in with that pressure, you don't want to be like, oh, let's run the mix, You want to be like, let's hide in the little space in the corner that he didn't think about, and we'll kind of bide our time and look for a way out. A lot of times what you get is Falco will just aerial under the plat, and you jumped up to the plat, and you get to run off. Importantly, do not immediately go to the plat and run off and try to back air Falco, because they'll be ready with the up tilt. Remember that thing I was saying where if you're reacting to a position and being like, oh, they did this, I'll do that, they do this, I do that, that, Falco wins those most of the time. It's just a general rule to keep in mind, I think. So if you're here and you're going around him on the platform, don't immediately counterattack. You can just very calmly chill for a second and come down to center, establish the center, and then push out again.
Oh, wow. That makes a lot of sense.
Rather than the immediate counterattack.
I've been playing this completely wrong.
Yeah, that's melee.
Crazy.
I feel like that all the time. So yeah, and then this is okay. So I think this was really good. Oh. Falco just won the mix here.
Yeah.
This will just happen sometimes, and this is why I think the good shit, especially Crudo. I get so mad playing Crudo. I'm always messaging that guy mean things after. I'm like, dude, he just puts me in the corner, and he's like, we just live here now. We live with you in the corner and me passive aerialing in center. And maybe every day I inch closer, and then every third day I take an inch back. And I'm like, dude, just do something. But it's actually just such a strong pressure from the Sheik's end.
I love Crudo. I'm trying to be Crudo Jr.
I see. Well, Crudo is the master of just standing right here and aerialing and being like, you're never ever crossing me up. And he doesn't even care if he ever hits you. Literally, he's just...
I gotta be like that.
He's just he's holding the pressure, jump fair. And then he's just wait, reset the center, jump fair, nope, reset the center. And I'm like, oh no. And eventually one of those fairs hit. But if you overcommit a little bit too hard here... So I think this was good, where you went back. And then it's just right here, you just overdrifted forward. If you had done a backflip fair here, you would have hit this option.
That would have been so good.
So you just... It's that feeling of you just don't want him to let him push through you and pass you, And so if you push forward, then his movement forward has a higher chance to push past you, if you push too much if you move forward too far, then it gives him an easier time of crossing you up. think this fair is good. I think this fair was fine. Yeah, good. Like I like that you just kind of like stayed very very far in the corner. I think that this like the fair was obviously bad, like from ledge.
Oh yeah,
Like you're just
classic.
yeah, but like yeah, we all do that. I feel you. Um,
Yeah.
but at least you didn't like overcommit
Fuck.
or have that happen.
No.
All right, I'm glad. I'm really annoyed at myself because I spent like a whole lesson with Ober telling him to like, nah, you can't just edgeguard Sheik so passively. You have to like jump out and like pressure her recovery. And then I played J-Mook at the local and I just sat on stage like a chump and missed like every edgeguard. And I'm just sitting here like, dude, I was just yelling at Ober about that. I feel really dumb about it. So watching him jump out to edgeguard you, and I'm like, oh yeah, good advice, man. Like, I wish I would follow that. Like.
It's all you.
Yeah, but then I don't follow my own.
We've all been there.
Yeah. No, that's fine, but it's just funny watching him do it. I'm like, man, I know that. Like, I told him to do that. Why am I not doing that? Okay, let's see. Okay, one thing I think is that I think it's more important to have a full charge of needles than to have like 8 laser damage. Personally, I can see like the argument, but I think these like needles like each one of these needles should be like, haha, you like let me charge 2 more, you fool, rather than like I hit you with 1 more needle or whatever. Because like this low percent game, and I say this to people all the time, no matter how much your character struggles at low percent, Falco struggles at low percent more. He doesn't have a good grab. Like, he doesn't, like, his aerials don't hit hard enough or far away enough to really get you away from it low percent. You might feel like you're struggling at low percent, but you have aerial to grab at 0. Falco does not. Falco, so, like, if you're nickel and diamond Falco as Sheik against, like, Fox, I feel great. Like, if I do 10 damage to Fox and he does 10 damage to me, I'm kind of like, yeah, nice. Like, I need that.
Yeah.
But against Falco, even though it would be nice to have that damage, every single laser he lands on you at 0, he's just like, yes. Like, it's huge. Like, 0 to 10%, 0 to 20, dodging these lasers is, like, way, way, way more important. Like, if you're at 8%, his down air works. If you're at 0, his down air doesn't work. It's a really big deal. Right. Really big. So, like, it's way more important here. First of all, to avoid the lasers if you can, but while you're avoiding them, just get extra needles charged, because that sets you up for a gimp. Because the only way for Falco to escape the 0 death tech chase on stage, and this is what I do nowadays, is I DI away tech away or DI behind tech behind, like every tech roll, just to get off stage. Because I feel like the mix-up recovering his spacies feels better because I have a mix. Whereas, like, on stage, I'm just literally taking damage and I can't do anything about it, and there's no control on my part if the Sheik is reacting. Yeah. So from the Sheik end, if, like, let's say you're fighting a Falco and they've decided that you're not going to get anything on them, and you grab them at 0 and you down throw them and they go to the edge and you grab them and you F throw them off, it's pretty nice at 10 damage on the Falco to have a full stack right there. Your odds of actually ending their life is way higher. And so being like, okay, like, I can kill out of the tech chase on stage, and now with a bunch of needles, I can also gimp you. That is huge. And so, like, avoiding Falco's lasers, charging your needles, that's great. That's putting you in an advantageous position. Using your needles, trading damage at low percent, this is probably plus for Falco, in my opinion.
Got it.
But, like, keeping those charged, hanging out here, power shielding, or even just shielding these lasers is great. Because you're just setting up... Because, like, right here, like, imagine if you had just gotten this pivot grab, but instead of all these needles, Falco was at 0, and you had a full stack, and you right here just did, like, pivot grab here, or even, like, grab here, and, like, he's just gonna DI off stage, and now you have, like, a way to gimp him, so... this is like a kind of small thing, but like I wouldn't do more than 2 of anything in a row when you're doing your corner pressure. So like you can do like fair, like backflip fair, or you can do backflip back air, but you can't be doing like backflip back air, backflip back air, or like fair. Like that's just not good. You need to be doing like, I think the like as a basis, you should at least do back air fair. Like you just don't do the same one every time, because like part of the strength of Sheik is that like backwards forwards dynamic, along with like the needles and stuff like that. And if you're just doing like the same action over and over, Falco will just do like a setup. Like he'll just do a setup on you and you won't be able to do anything. This is like an example of it. Is that like this is really different. Like the third back air, it was just too much. Whereas like if you had done, you know, like right here you do this, and then right here you do a full hop to here, or here you do an up tilt, or here you do an F tilt, or here you do a crouch and you wait, or anything. You just don't want to like repeat the same action over and over in the corner pressure. You can literally just be like AB, or ABC, and that's like enough. And if they catch on, you can mess with it. But like ultimately, just don't do like A. Like the back air is broken, but not to just do it over and over every time. And then yeah, you're just not comboing off of single tag chains. That's huge. That makes a big deal. I would have up aired here. I think up air here is way better, but like just another up air right here.
Oh, I see it.
Yeah, but it happens. I think just because Falco's so good from that spot. Like you're hitting him so far away. Like boom, you can maybe get like a runoff needle here if you're crazy and stop this. But overall, I don't think the situation is quite as good. It's a small complaint though, not as big as the other stuff I'm talking about. Okay. So this is good. Okay, so right here, what you want to do is, okay, so you tried to hold the corner. Your goal was to hold the corner. It didn't succeed. So I like this. You held the center. Okay. Falco decides to get out. You can't stop him for this. You get one opportunity here to up air trade. The up air trade with the down air, and I think depending on the position and percent, it can be good. I think right here was probably a good spot to do it because he has no double jump. And so you'll recover out of the down air knockdown. You'll just tech in place, and he'll be stuck with no double jump, and you have like an edge guard potential here. So I think going for the up air trade here a lot of times can be good. If you don't go for the up air trade, though, you can just stay here. Like, you can literally just crouch or something like that. He doesn't really have a lot of good options to actually come down and get you. And so he's going to have to eventually pick one of these sides. And then as soon as he picks the side, you have center, and you can immediately start fighting him. Or, like, zoning him. Okay, good. Forward tilt, so good when Falco's already fully in the corner. Like right here. Oh, yeah. I like that a lot. This is like standard good stuff. Approach the corner with the back air. Take the laser. F tilt. Totally good. That's the stuff you want to do when you have him in the corner. Whoa. This is like the hot pockets are ready and I'm done playing this game type of down smash. Like, you're just like, oh man, I heard the microwave go off. Like, come on, man, just die. Like next stock wins, and then you go for this. That's definitely what that is. Okay, I like the nair out of shield there. Oof. See, that's what I'm saying. In a world where somebody who's not one of the best Falcos in the world, but is like a solid Falco, is just casually hitting these like every stock or whatever, you need to be comboing with reaction tech trades. Like, people were not hitting these like a decade ago, like every stock. You know what I mean? Like Ober hits those. Ober hits those, and not only Ober. A lot of the people in these days will hit stuff like that. So once again, this is the same situation. You get a bunch of charged needles. He can't stop you. This is fantastic. Your threat on the ground is now needle throw. Full needles. You have the threat of the gimp. You have all kinds of things. Don't give up these needles so easily. The goal is not to get the needles out, it's to get the needles charged.
Oh, get the needles in.
Yeah. Because that gives you, that literally makes your character stronger. Like, you're playing a stronger version of Sheik when you have charged needles than non-charged needles.
I've always tried to consider that Sheik with full stack needles maybe top 2, top 1 character in the game.
She's a very, very strong character with a full stack. And so having the ability to get a full stack and then not doing it feels counterproductive. Because they're not going to get hit by these unless they're bad.
Right.
And maybe you catch people sometimes, but not worth it. The charge is more worth it. Oof. I'm just going to watch that position really quick. What happened here? Yeah, it's because you... Okay, remember, you're taking this defensive position on this platform, and that means we are in big defend mode. If you wanted to fight, you would be here. You can't choose this position in the defensive spot where you want to be playing mad. This is your needle charge spot. This isn't your fight spot. This is your fight spot. So what happens is you go to your needle charge spot, your really defensive spot, and then when Falco comes to play, you decide to engage aggressively. And then they're just going to win these positions almost all the time, even though this one looked a little weird. I personally think you should never miss an opportunity to take center if it's there. So, if you're in a spot like this, holy moly, get over there as fast as you can. Get to this spot and immediately start, pressuring the side plat with back foot back air. And yeah, think about this as with the needle charge thing again. Falco at 8, and you have these needles. Falco at 14, and you have no needles. Which one is really helping you out more? You know what I mean? It's the thing that will let you edge guard. Because if you don't have a full stack, edge guarding Falco is
He keeps lasering.
It's it's 1 out of 6 or something. What'd you say?
Oh, he keeps lasering. I think that's why I keep shooting those single lasers. It's to make him stop lasering.
But he wants to be lasering.
Right.
You're he wants to do his good thing. I'll make him stop by doing my bad thing. And you're
it's
wait,
not gonna work.
You know what would stop him from shooting lasers? Is
charging a full stack.
If every time he shot lasers, you got a full stack.
Wow, it's that easy.
Because he'd be like, no, he's getting a full stack. I gotta interact. So, on the Falco's end, I'm thinking, I'll laser... from the Falco's end, realistically what I'm thinking is okay, Sheik wants the full stack, and I want laser damage. So I'm gonna laser Sheik and try to prevent Sheik... I'm gonna try to prevent her from getting a full stack with the lasers. And if the Sheik is moving around enough to dodge all my lasers to get a full stack, then I can usually break the neutral and at least look for something. Sheik has to move around the lasers to dodge them or to shield them, and I go, okay, I'll take that frame advantage, and then I'll laser and Sheik shields the laser, and I'll short hop off with the laser here, and now I kind of get this underneath the platform position, but she can go to top plat, and at least we get to keep playing. You know what I mean? But if Falco's getting their lasers and you're just one-off throwing needles, the Falco's okay, mine's better. You're giving them an incentive to keep shooting lasers. Yeah, and when you're in a position like this, I just think pure defense. I'm not thinking about... If you're gonna think of an attack or whatever, it would be something like shield double wave dash forward grab or something crazy. If you're gonna do an attack, it better be a crazy mix up. From these positions, most of the time you just want to go to the ledge. I would say go to the ledge there almost every time. It's a strong position. Oh no. Yeah. The real key is that going high is just bad.
Yeah. I gotta go low.
Every Sheik goes high when they panic.
That's
every
true.
Sheik, and like everyone. Like there's no Sheik that doesn't go high when they panic. So it happens. He's doing like the least optimal version of the edgeguard possible.
Oh, turn me when it killed me.
I don't like the Shinebacker edgeguard very much.
Oh, really? I think
Yeah.
Over does that quite a lot.
Yeah, I think it's fine. I just like doing shine into react here. Like I just like if I just shine here and she pops up, you know, I can like decide
Oh,
to down her onto the platform or
yeah.
I just like the options out of it more. I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna go for like a setup that I like more often here, whereas he's kind of doing like the algorithmic. I just don't like the algorithmic edge guards, and I feel like every time I get stuck doing like really algorithmic edge guards, they find a way back. Okay, so we are about a little over an hour now,
Yeah.
so I think we succeeded at going through a lot of really good points, though.
Mm-hmm. I
Do you have
agree.
any final questions or thoughts to like review?
Um, no, not really. I think I learned enough that I can, start trying it out in games and then see how it goes and then start fixing other holes in my gameplay because definitely a lot I need to change. But this is a great starting point. My mind is like expanding. I'm like, whoa, man,
Yo, let's
I've
go.
been playing bad melee. It's kind of crazy because like I'm not that great of a player, and I still get some decent wins. Sometimes I make out pools at like majors or something like that. But at the same time, like man, I'm really bad right now. Just like imagine if like I was slightly better, I could maybe
Yeah, like if
beat.
you had some solid like
Yeah,
game plans and you were playing around them and stuff, you'd be
yeah,
surprised how easy it is to beat a lot of people.
yeah. Because most times I feel like I'm banking on like just playing really well on that day, and maybe they
Hmm.
play really bad, and that's not really consistent. Like,
Definitely not.
yeah.
Yeah, so it's good to realize that. I hope this lesson, you know, is helpful and stuff like that. And
Mm-hmm.
I'll hit you up with the I'll send you like the payment stuff
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
right
I
now.
got you.
Okay, great. Sounds good. Let me know if you have any clips or questions or anything like that later.
For sure.
Cool. Have a good one.
Thank you. You too.
Peace.